Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to ANC 2G's monthly meeting. Today's the second Thursday of March, March 13th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. And we do have a quorum, so I would like to call this meeting to order at 6:30 p.m. again on Thursday, March 13th, 2025. This is a public monthly meeting for ANC 2G. Commissioner Shea, Secretary, could you please take our roll call?
Yes, Commissioner Padro, are you present?
Present.
Commissioner Nigro, are you present?
Here.
Hello, Commissioner McCarty, are you present?
Present.
Commissioner Barry, are you present? I don't believe she's here. Commissioner Garrett, are you present?
Not yet.
Okay.
Howard, Commissioner Garrett should be joining momentarily, and Commissioner Barry will not be with us this evening, but we do have a quorum, so I will go ahead and share the agenda for this evening. This is the agenda that was published to constituents publicly and between our commission. First up is the approval of our consent agenda. That approval includes the approval of the agenda presented before all of you right now, as well as the approval of the February meeting minutes and approval of the February treasury report. Does anyone have any comments on anything in the consent agenda?
Mr. Chairman, the print is a little small on the screen, so I can't make out. Was the Dasha item removed from the agenda?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Nigro, I believe you said you wanted to provide a comment on the treasurer's report before we
Oh no,
voted?
I say we don't have to vote on anything tonight. No, I have to say that during my treasurer's report.
Okay, we're talking about your treasurer's report right now and the consent agenda?
I'm sorry, could you bring it up on the screen then, my treasurer's report?
Yep.
All right. So this is what we currently have for it's in our bank is $19,344.54. It balances with the ANC side and with the bank. And so we didn't have much action. We had two allotments go through, both the same of $4,011.43, and then we were paid for our legal fees for $12,912. And let me bring up that email. Hold on one second, Stephen. Okay, so here's what I have to say.
You just went on mute, Commissioner Nigro?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. All right. So there was a small error in our last quarterly report. So it was everything is good now. And so the FY25 Q1 ending balance changed to include check 1082 that was not included in the original report. ANC 2G's revised ending balance for that quarterly report is $11,871.68. The end. So I just have to say that, and it's recorded in a minute. But we're not voting again. We're not going to vote on that.
Thanks, Commissioner Nigro. Does anyone have any questions about that or back to the agenda before I entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda? I'd like to enter.
I'll move approval of the consent agenda.
Thank you, Commissioner Padro. Do I have a second?
I second.
Commissioner Nigro seconds. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 The ayes have it. The consent agenda is approved unanimously. With that, we will move directly into our community forum. We have a lot of updates tonight, and Councilmember Brooke Pinto will also be joining us. So we will have a special guest and an opportunity to hear from her. I have first up the Metropolitan Police Department, but we're actually going to pull over Events DC really quickly because they're having an event tonight, and we want to let them continue hosting that. So Solana from Events DC, I'm going to pull you over first.
Hi, Commissioner McCarty. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Thanks, Solana.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. My name is Solana Vandernet. I am the Senior Manager of Community Engagement for the Walter E. Washington Convention Center, and I'm happy to serve as a connection point between you and Events DC. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions. I'll put my contact information in the chat. As a reminder, to learn more about Events DC, our programs, initiatives, and other opportunities, visit eventsdc.com. If you haven't already done so, please sign up for our electronic mailing list and follow us on our social media platforms. Regarding the March event calendar, for the remainder of this month, we have 13 upcoming events at the Convention Center, 6 single days and 7 multi-days events. I would like to highlight the following event. This Friday and Saturday, the St. Jude Rock and Roll Running Series, Washington, D.C. Packet Pickup and Health and Fitness Expo will be with us at the Convention Center with an estimated attendance of 10,000. A traffic advisory was distributed last week providing further details, and I'll include the link in the chat for that. Next week, as we all know, we are excited to welcome back the National Cherry Blossom Festival from March 20th through April 13th. The festival will have food, fun, culture, and entertainment for all ages and welcome more than 1.5 million people to enjoy diverse and creative programming, promoting traditional and contemporary arts and culture, natural beauty, and community spirit. Events are primarily free and open to the public. We are excited to continue to sponsor this historic festival and welcome our residents and tourists from around the world to experience the cherry blossoms and signature events. For further information, please make sure to visit nationalcherryblossomfestival.org. And as a reminder, we are offering another free public art tour on Thursday, April 17th. The curator-led hour-long tour of select artworks is free, but advanced registration is required as space is limited. If you're interested, please sign up at eventsdc.com/community/art-collection. And thank you for letting me join this call. Please let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you, Solana. Commissioner Nigro, you have your hand raised.
Solana, you saw my email last night, right? You see my email last night, Solana?
I'm not sure if it's me, but I can't hear you. You
You're
keep going in and out.
Commissioner Nigro, you're coming in a bit garbled, but I believe you asked Solana if she got your email last night.
That's right.
That's correct.
Yep, and Teresa responded to you. Did you see her email?
I did. So I want to make sure that it's understood with Events DC that we are not the parking lot for events, right? And so I was kind of surprised that why do you all not list the parking garages?
I really can't. If you're able to repeat that, I cannot understand what you're
Or
saying.
Why do you not include a list of parking lots?
Well, thank you for the feedback, and as Teresa mentioned, we can provide that information to the people who created the event, and then we could remember that for future events.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And just for public record, so Solana, Commissioner Nigro was just asking you about having events hosted at the convention center share parking details with their attendees.
Right. And so she was asking in particular about parking garages and where to park. As we know, parking is limited around here. And so, as we mentioned to her yesterday in our response, that we're forwarding her feedback to the appropriate response. And as always, we always highly suggest, again, due to the parking, to utilize rideshare or public transportation.
Thank you, Solana. Commissioners, any other questions for Events DC? Okay, anybody on the public side? Would you like to ask any questions of Solana with Events DC? If so, please raise your hand. Okay, looks like we have no further questions. Thank you, Solana, for the update.
All right, thank you.
Next, we are going to pull over Lieutenant Alan Herring from NPD to give us an NPD update. And while I do that, I do want to read into the record that Commissioner Howard Garrett joined us at 6:34 p.m. So Howard Garrett has been with us. Commissioner Garrett has been with us for the past 6 minutes, as it's now 6:41 p.m. Thank you, Commissioner. Lieutenant Herring, would you like to begin your MPD update for ANC 2G?
Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me? Copy that.
Yes, sir.
I see a thumbs up there. Once again, this is Lieutenant Herring, Metropolitan Police Department, 3rd District, PSA 308, and I'm here to give the ANC's report for the last month. Overall, let's go back in here and confirm. Yes, overall crime is down for the period. No homicides, no sexual abuses, no assault with dangerous weapons. There were 2 robberies in the last month. One is going to be closed with arrest. Took place at 1338 8th Street Northwest back in February 23rd. And as a matter of fact, that was just closed by, the investigation led to a warrant, and the case was closed with an arrest a couple of days ago, back on the, actually yesterday, on the 12th. The individual was locked up at 7th and O after being spotted by the crime suppression team. And then there's going to be another, it wasn't actually a robbery, it was actually a carjacking. Took place back on March 1st. Individuals attempted to, presented a firearm, attempted to steal the car. Apparently they couldn't get the car in gear, and then fled the scene with the complainant's property, to include phones, wallets, things of that nature. This case from, once again, the 1st is still under investigation. And then the ANC over the last little while was struck by a couple of burglaries, kind of a burglary ring. Those individuals were taken into custody about a week ago. They're related to, there was a burglary at 1104 7th Street Northwest, as well as a burglary at 1251 9th Street Northwest. And once again, those individuals are related to that. It was a male juvenile and a male adult. Those individuals were taken into custody last week, I believe. That's about it as far as the major goings on in the ANC over the last month or so. And I guess if anyone has any questions about what's going on, I guess I'll try to answer whatever questions you might have.
Thank you, Lieutenant Herring. Commissioner Nigro, you have your hand raised.
Hey, Lieutenant, how's it going? Can you hear me?
Good morning. I can hear you. Yes. Now you're yes, you're clear now.
Well, you know, some people don't want to hear me at all. So what happened? You know, and I probably should not send an email today. But what happened yesterday around 5 o'clock? You know anything about 318 M Street? Do you know anything about it?
318 M Street yesterday at about 5 o'clock.
Yeah, and you know that address is becoming notorious, as we know. So
Okay, 318. Let me see if I can pull up the address. You think that's a specific address or?
I'd say that is the address.
Okay. All right. Do you know if that's the event location or if it just happened next to that in that general area?
Just in front of it. But don't worry, I don't want to waste time. I'll email you. Don't worry if you don't see it right away.
Okay. And do you know anything that may have happened in the say the
It was
okay.
probably a robbery, and there's things that have happened on that corner, you know, over and over again. So
Okay. 300 block of M Street yesterday about 5 o'clock.
yeah, I'll ding you. Don't worry, I'll ding you. Don't worry about it. I don't want to waste time.
Okay.
Thank you, Commissioner Nigro. Do any other commissioners have a question for Lieutenant Herring? If so, please raise your hand. Okay, we will open the floor for public participation. Any members of the public on the other side as an attendee? If you would like to ask Lieutenant Herring a question from MPD, please raise your virtual hand. Okay, seeing no questions for MPD, we'll let you go, Lieutenant Herring, but thank you for being with us tonight and providing those updates.
Thank you for having me, folks.
Next up for our updates, we are very excited to have our very own Councilmember Brooke Pinto joining us tonight. So I am going to move Councilmember Pinto over as a panelist so that the council member can share some updates with us, with the commission and public, and answer any questions. Without further ado, Councilmember Pinto, I'll let you take it away.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Chair McCarty, and great to see all of you commissioners and folks who have joined us today. It's a pleasure to be with you all. I first just want to remind everybody about a resource that's available. I know there is a lot of stress and anxiety right now in the district, the changes in the federal government with a lot of unexpected job losses. And if you call 988, there are licensed professionals who can help with anything someone may need and offer free counseling services as well. So I wanted to remind everybody of that resource. Again, it's 988. My biggest focus right now this week is around what's going on in Congress with the continuing resolution. You all may have heard, but as part of the federal budget process, the House passed a continuing resolution that has lots of challenges with it, but one of the primary challenges from a district perspective is they treat us like a federal agency. And so they've frozen what it would do if it passes tomorrow in the Senate is it freezes our funding at fiscal year 2024 levels, even though we already passed a budget last summer that was approved by Congress in July and are halfway through our budget year. And so in practice, we'd have over $1 billion of funding that we need to find essentially overnight. The federal government would have zero savings from this move. It would just freeze our ability to spend it, and it would sit in an account. And so we have been working feverishly to talk to every senator that we can in both parties to explain to them the very real consequences of doing this for the people of DC and for the nation's capital, for our safety, for our teachers, for our fire, human services. And so we'll continue to work on this until the vote tomorrow. And either way, we will have a plan B and C and D. We have them that we are working on now to make sure the district is protected. And so we're doing everything we can on that front, but wanted to make sure you all had an update there. Unfortunately, it is the new environment that we are living in right now that we have a lot of defense to play as a city to protect our funding levels and to protect our priorities. And so that is my number one responsibility, to make sure that we can do everything we can on our community's behalf, so that we can protect our autonomy and continue to further our priorities and our values here in the district. We have just finished our performance oversight season at the council, with our local agencies and judiciary committee's case that I chair, some of our federal agencies because of our unique public safety system here in the district. And now we are heading into budget season. Sorry to be the bearer of all bad news here tonight, but our budget season, even notwithstanding what's happening with Congress this week, is extremely bleak. It is certainly the most challenging budget I've seen in my 5 years on the council, for a couple of reasons. One is because the ARPA dollars, the federal funding that the district got through COVID, are running out. Another is we have about $1 billion of shortfall estimated from the reduction in the federal workforce that's happened, and lagging valuations of our commercial properties that are still experiencing a high number of vacancies. And so I sent my budget priorities letter to the mayor. I'm working closely with she and her team and my colleagues in the next couple of weeks to make sure our primary priorities on behalf of Ward 2 and behalf of the city are accommodated, which for me are around public safety, economic resiliency for residents and growth for our businesses, and education and investing in our young people, with schools and after school time and services for our youth. And I think if we stay focused on those three areas, we will get through this challenging time. But I just want all of us to be on the same page that this is a different budget than we've had for a while, and so it's going to be tighter than we've experienced. Just so you all know, kind of some of those dates coming up, the mayor will propose her budget to the mayor on April 2nd. And then the council will have several weeks of committee oversight hearings. Welcome you all to come testify, whether that be on the Judiciary Committee hearings or any of the committees, on your perspective on budget priorities. It's always great to hear from our residents and stakeholders about what you'd like to see funded. And then every committee will go through their budget process. Our Judiciary Committee markup is going to be on Wednesday, May 7th. And then once every committee does that in May, the entire budget moves before the full council, and we'll take those votes. The first vote is on May 28th, which I think is the Wednesday after Memorial Day. And then the second vote will be on June 11th. So that's kind of what's coming up in the spring that will be my biggest focus. I also want to make sure everybody is aware of my hopes to work with you all to establish a new Shaw bid that will run north-south, from Howard University, ideally all the way down to Carnegie Library. I think this is going to be a really important opportunity for Shaw to have some collective focus and intention and attention to some of the challenges that we've had. One example is the Safe Commercial Corridors Grants program that I started last year. Other bids in the city have been able to apply for that funding, and utilize it for things like commercial ambassadors and additional cameras, and have more eyes and ears on the ground kind of walking up and down the neighborhood that Shaw hasn't been able to benefit from. It'll also be really helpful in making sure there's some consistency with our lighting, with sidewalks, and supporting the entire business and residential community in Shaw. So this is something I'm really excited about. I really hope that everybody can work with us on this. That I think will be really, really important for the neighborhood, in our next establishing kind of what the future of Shaw looks like in the next couple of years. Lastly, I wanted to note that Michaela Gasper from my team is here. She is going to be, she's our constituent services coordinator, and she's going to be joining you all at 2G meetings moving forward. And so I know Michaela is looking forward to working with you all, and just wanted to make sure you all knew her name. So why don't I stop there? And happy to answer any questions people have or hear any ideas that you have for the neighborhood. But thank you all so much again for having me.
Thank you, council member. We will start with questions from the commissioners, and I've already got a bunch of hands raised. Commissioner Garrett, I believe you were first, so the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you so much, Councilmember Pinto. We previously spoke about this on our 101. The Ward 1 1B is having their second meeting to Councilmember Nadeau's bill that is regarding the NMA. And that meeting is on Thursday, March 20th at 7 p.m. If we can talk about this more offline, but if your team is available to join that meeting to answer any questions, there were a lot of constituents from Ward 2 on the first meeting that were asking questions about your thoughts and concerns with her bill. So if your team is available to join that committee meeting, that would be fantastic. And kind of so we can mend this together and hear both perspectives. I think the second meeting is going to be focused on her responses to the residents' initial questions from the first meeting. And I think it'd be important for your team or you to be there as well to be able to answer any questions because it does overlap in Ward 2.
Thank you so much for flagging. Yeah, Commissioner Garrett, if you wouldn't mind sending me or our team that information for that meeting, that would be great. And I'll do my best either to be there myself or to make sure someone from our team is there.
Okay, perfect. And then the second thing is, lastly, I just wanted to foot stomp Councilmember Pinto's fight with the DC CR bill, continuing resolution regarding our statehood in the budget with $1 billion funds, and wanted to encourage all residents to please continue to call Congress. Senate will be voting tomorrow. Please continue to call them to vote no, as our autonomy is on the line in the fight of who we are and how they view us as a committee or as not as a state. Please continue to call to make those calls so we can make sure that our voices are being heard. So thank you so much for your fight in that. It can't, council and the mayor cannot do it. We have to do it together to ensure that our voices are being heard. So thank you for all that you're doing.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Commissioner Garrett. Commissioner Shea?
Thank you. Councilmember Pinto. My question for you is, I've been hearing from residents that they've been reaching out to folks on the Hill, reaching out to different offices, and they're hearing back kind of thanks, but no thanks. You don't live in my state. So they're not really listening to their concerns, or they're saying, you kind of gotta bark up a different tree. Do you or does the council have any recommendations for DC residents on how they can reach out to the folks that are voting on our fate so that we can share our priorities and concerns and hopefully be heard?
Sure. So, like a lot of things with politics, it kind of depends on your audience. I think depending on what happens tomorrow with the CR, there is an amendment that Senator Also Brooks and Senator Warner are moving that would exempt DC from this language. And so whether it's that amendment or if the CR passes clean tomorrow and there's another effort to move a bill to fix the DC issue, the biggest thing that I think is persuasive with a bipartisan audience is to make sure that all senators and Congress members know that this would affect their public safety with police and fire positions, because we have our local government handles a lot of responsibilities on behalf of the federal government when it comes to our public safety. And when it comes, doesn't matter where you're from, or if you're a visitor from another state, or you are visiting, or working here, if you're in an emergency, you need to call police and fire and someone needs to show up. And that is the most important message, I think, to share with a bipartisan audience about the impacts that this budget cut would have, and is something that is resonating with folks in both parties.
Thank you. And one last thought related to the public safety note. I would just like to communicate that what I'm hearing from residents is that commitment and resources to public safety is top of mind, and just ask that you keep that in mind during this budget season. That is something that I think a lot. I know I am hearing, in multiple conversations each day. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I completely agree and absolutely. And I just spoke yesterday, the chief of police about this and today with the mayor. And I will just reiterate another benefit that I'd like to focus on with the establishment of the Shaw bid is similar to what we did with Chinatown. We started a community resource hub. And within the first couple of weeks, there were hundreds of services accommodated for whether it was a public safety issue or a mental health crisis or human services need met. And we saw the crime plummet within 30 days of establishing this safety hub. And I would love to do the same thing in Shaw, and having a bid there will make it even more successful.
Thank you. And I know I said that was my last thing, but I do want to just say that I'd like to support the Shaw bid in any way I can for the reasons that you've outlined. And I think the community is very excited at the prospect of this. I promise that's my last comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Commissioner Shea. Commissioner Nigro?
Hi there. So I need to write some letters for the budget and the performance oversight here. So do I still have time for that?
So it depends what the hearing was for. So our records for our committee generally close about 2 weeks after the hearing.
Oh, okay.
So MPD, for instance, we had their oversight hearing on Tuesday. So that record is open until March 25th. But all of the information on how to submit it is on the dccouncil.gov/limbs to submit testimony. This year, where everything is standardized now for the committees. So instead of constituents having to find each committee email address to send it to, you submit it through LIMS. So it hopefully is a little bit easier of a process to navigate. But Commissioner, if there are other thoughts on an agency that the record is closed or anything that you want to share to us, we're always happy to review that and try to amplify those concerns.
Okay, because let me be clear. So the Department of Corrections, Department of General Services, and probably Department of Buildings, we're all in the cahoots, I'm telling you, about the jail. So this is what I'm going to say, but I couldn't, I got stuff going on in my life. But, I'll write hopefully some letters will go through, but definitely Corrections and Department of General Service were in the cahoots. That's for real. So I'll check on those dates, and I apologize. I usually am up on that, but I've got stuff going on. And one last question for you. So you never got back to me about if that letter that you had drafted with Delano Hunter concerning the jail at 501 New York Avenue, you said you were going to let me know if a lawyer had looked at it. I need to know that information, and you never got back with me.
So I am a member of the legislative branch. I have an agreement in writing with the mayor with conditions around the use of 501 New York Avenue as a temporary swing space while the central cell block is under construction, to soundproof the jail, which is happening now, and to ensure that nobody is released from the jail. That is an agreement that I have with the executive in writing. As I've shared with you many times, I'm not gonna,
That's not my question.
Those agreements mean something to me. It means
Okay.
something to me. And every time we've had an agreement with the executive that is signed by me and them, we have had an understanding, and that's been honored. And so that's my position, and it's not acceptable to have an agreement between two branches of government that's not honored here in the district. And I have no reason to expect that it won't be.
That was my question. My question was if it was a lawyer looked at it, but you didn't sign it. The mayor didn't sign it. Delano Hunter. So I'll send you an email. So I don't want to belabor that. You didn't answer my question.
Thank you, Commissioner Nigro. Commissioner Padro?
Thank you, Council Member, for joining us this evening. I will second and third the expressions of my colleagues as to the priority that our community and our constituents have repeatedly raised in terms of the budget, that public safety is number one. It's their biggest concern. It's the concern that I hear from folks in our community every time I'm walking down the street, every time I pick up the phone, every time I open my email browser. Thank you also again for all the hard work that you put into the Security C bill last year to try to help to make the improvements that we've been experiencing in terms of overall public safety outcomes. In terms of the bid, certainly welcome. We have experimented or toyed with creating a bid in the neighborhood in the past. We had some stakeholders that were not ready to move forward. The pandemic hit. It was untenable to suggest that property owners would pass along additional tax burdens to their tenants. I'm looking forward to hearing from business owners and property owners in the area as to whether or not they will support it this time. But certainly a coherent, cohesive, holistic approach is much better than a piecemeal approach. Previously, most recent efforts had been piecemeal after having been more holistic and all-encompassing. So I'm glad that the focus is once again on an overall bid that is going to be able to equally serve all of our primary commercial corridors rather than only parts of them. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Commissioner. And let me just say also thank you for your many, many years of working on this issue. I know that it is a long time coming, and hopefully all of that hard work will pay off soon, but we certainly need the residents and the business community to be equally as excited about the vision and the benefits that this can and will provide to everyone in the community, including the businesses who will be paying into it. And thank you for your comments about public safety. Totally noted. This is still my #1 focus and concern with improving public safety. And I should also note that this week, I think on Tuesday, marked the 1-year anniversary since the mayor signed Secure DC, which was my public safety omnibus legislation last year that had over 100 different interventions, and we're thrilled that violent crime has decreased by 35%. We ended the year with the lowest violent crime numbers in 30 years in Washington, D.C. So there is a lot more work to do. I will not let up my focus on this, but everybody should know that we are heading in the right direction, and we are focused across government on what I think is our #1 responsibility to the community to ensure that everybody is safe.
Thank you, Councilmember. Thank you, Commissioner Padro. I'm just going to jump in really quick on behalf of ANC 2G04. So thank you, Councilmember, for being here. I want to reiterate that shared support for Shaw bid. I think especially our community in Blagden Alley would benefit much greater from that entity. And so we would look forward to partnering with you and making sure that we have all the right stakeholders joining you to make sure that is a resounding success. As for the budget conversation, I also I've chatted with your team a bit about this, but I do want to continue to relay that we are very fortunate and excited to be receiving a lot of investments from DDOT, especially infrastructure around Blagden Alley and Naylor Court to make it safer for pedestrians and cyclists and motorists. And so I just want to reiterate that there's still a lot more to do for our alley dwelling communities. And so please keep partnering with us in DDOT on infrastructure solutions that will benefit our neighborhood. Commissioner Nigro, I'm going to give you the floor one more time and then we'll go to
real
public.
Quick. Yeah, real quick. So you talked about, Councilmember, about this making some sort of activity center, just like y'all have in Chinatown, right? Am I correct?
Yeah, community resource hub.
Yeah. Okay. So people, when the jail came up at 501 New York Avenue, that's what people are like, well, why don't they do something like that? So, because what's going to happen is going to be mayhem on the lower half of 7th Street. I don't care what anyone else says. I stand by my words. So whatever you're talking about, it's already going to be a problem because that jail is going to be there. I'm done. There, done. Thank you.
Welcome.
Won't matter about a community center. You're going to have a mess down there at 501 New York Avenue, guaranteed.
I'll just say again, look, I understand that this is an imperfect solution for the community. I am fully aware of that. The central cell block is in unacceptable conditions right now. It is leaking, it is unsafe, it needs to be renovated. And while it is renovated, people need a temporary place to go when they're being held for 24 hours, 48 hours. And this is the location that the executive identified. And so what I determine sometimes to be the best path forward when writing is on the wall for something is to make sure that conditions are met so that the community needs and concerns are addressed. I know it would have been preferable to you and to probably a lot of people and to me to find a different building. But since that was not an option on the table, I did the best I could to make sure that there are conditions met with this building, to make it temporary, to make it soundproofed, and to make sure no one was released. This is going to be just during the period during renovations. I know it is imperfect, but I believed, given the facts that we had, that it was the best outcome. So I hear you, and I'm going to stay very involved in this project to do everything I can to make sure it's a success for those who have to stay there, but also for the surrounding community. I know it's a concern.
Thank you, Councilmember. Thank you, Commissioner Nigro. Seeing no further questions from commissioners, we're going to move to the public. So please raise your virtual hand if you have a question for Councilmember Pinto, and I will call on you and permit you to speak. First up, we have Wendine Elos. I'm going to allow you to talk. And for folks on the public, we do want to be respectful of the council members' time, so please keep your questions direct, concise, and respectful. Thank you. Wendine, you're permitted to talk. Wendine, are you there? Okay, we will call on Karen Nussbaum next. Karen, you're permitted to talk.
Very much. Councilmember Pinto, I'm glad to hear that you are prioritizing the continuing resolution, and I agree it's a extraordinary challenge for us. But I also agree with Commissioner Garrett that this is something that all of us need to participate in, residents as well as elected leaders. And it could be that I'm missing the messages from the elected leaders, but I would like to hear much more about how you intend to engage us both in this fight, but while this vote will take place tomorrow, there are going to be a million other things like this because they want to show that they can control DC. So I'm looking to you for leadership for us, the residents of this ward, to engage us more in this activity. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on that.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. I think it is one of our strong suits here in the district that we have neighbors and residents who are so engaged, and we need that engagement if we're going to get through this time. And I know we will get through it by working together. We put out notices, I put out a newsletter on Monday, kind of sharing how people can get involved. I put on my social media accounts. I don't know if you follow me on social media at CM Brooke Pinto, or if you go to my website, which is Brooke Pinto DC, that's how I share my newsletter. For right now, the vote is tomorrow. And so there is a rally tomorrow morning on the Hill at 9 a.m. That folks are welcome and encouraged to go to. That's going to be in Hart Auditorium, or sorry, the main floor of Hart, the Hart building. And as you said, this is going to be continuing. We're going to do everything we can to get through tomorrow, but then there'll be another fight and another fight. And so it's very important that we stay together on this, and I'll do everything I can to kind of send clear communication through our newsletter, through community meetings like this one, and through our social media to get people engaged. We also do office hours in the community for people who are would rather talk in person. But if you have another idea about how I can better engage with residents or a location that may be better suited for folks, we are always open-minded to try to meet people where they are at different hours of the day or night or different days of the week or weekend.
Great. Thank you very much. I'll follow up.
Thanks, Karen.
Thank you, Karen. I will call on Yelena Bujevic next.
Thank you, Stephen. I really appreciate it. Good evening, everyone. Council Member Pinto, I live in Blagden Alley, and the couple of issues that were discussed tonight, public safety and what's happening with our city and the importance of our government leadership to evidence strong leadership and effective governance. We have had such a difficult time navigating our ABCA agency. And most recently, when we tried to engage with ABCA on the positronics case, we just really watched how this agency didn't follow its own processes or its own regulations. And unfortunately, this is not the first incident. This is just the latest in our community's observation and experience of ABCA's failure to follow its own rules, the city's regulations, due process, enforcement of existing laws, regulations. And so for that leadership to evidence that, I would love to request that you initiate an oversight investigating ABCA rather than this coming from any other sides of whether it's the federal government trying to take over or anything like that, to show that we actually do have a government that leads, that holds people accountable, our agencies, that there's transparency, that there's adherence to our own city's laws, regulations, codes, and that this really is a concern for public safety. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you for raising the challenges you've had with ABCA and with this applicant, Poisteronics, I always mispronounce it. I mean, simply put, I agree that the process has been very flawed. Chair McCarty has been an excellent advocate on behalf of the community for this issue. I would have loved and tried to submit a protest letter and joining the ANC and was disallowed from doing so because of new rules around the ABCA process that the council passed that I opposed that don't let residents who live in the community, for instance, don't let council members participate in the protest process. I think that's wrong. I think that when it comes to alcoholic and cannabis establishments, the community has a right to participate in the process if they'd like to, and that process has to mean something. When they're asked to have a safety plan, they have to produce a safety plan. When they're asked about parking, they need to respond to those questions. And so I support the protest and wish I could have formally participated, but was disallowed from doing so. So I raised that to you all. So hopefully we can try to address this legislatively at the council. And so you all know some of the hurdles that we had in place, because I'll need some support. I did not have sufficient support with my colleagues to make those changes when I tried several months ago. In terms of additional ABCA oversight, it's something that I've spoken with the director about. I've spoken with Councilmember McDuffie about it, who chairs the Business Economic Development Committee, to make sure that these processes are honored. It's certainly something we'll continue to get into with the budget as we look to support positions and ABCA, that all of these processes are being followed. And I will take my responsibility seriously as a member of that committee to engage in that kind of increased oversight there. But I am sorry on behalf of the city for the experience that neighbors have had with this applicant in particular, because I don't think it's right.
So just to clarify, I'm not talking, this is just the latest incident in this problem. And we have been in contact with your office for the last few years because there have been other applicants that have also not followed the settlement letters. There's been a lack of enforcement. When the license renewal processes, there were conflicts of interest. So we have been in contact with your office and your have supplied documentation. And so completely understand about not being able to participate in the positronics process, but it is well within your rights to initiate an oversight investigation into ABCA. So that would be super helpful.
Great, noted. Well, thank you. And every time that you all and the Black Nally neighbors have brought to me a concern about ABCA, I've followed up with ABCA. I've had several meetings with them, with Director Musali about all of the allegations raised. They're all different, but many of the challenges that we've had is with settlement agreements and trying to make sure that those are actually enforced. And some of the language of the settlement agreements has been a mismatch, I'll say, with the allegations about some of those establishments. And so by that, I mean, we need to make really clear that all the language in every settlement agreement that we have is exactly what the community wants to see so that that can be enforced, because ABCA only has the ability to enforce what is or is not in the settlement agreement. So that's not an excuse for ABCA. That's a response to some of the pushback that I've gotten when I've tried to get other action from ABCA with other establishments that are having concerning impacts on the community, but that's not necessarily in violation of what's in their settlement agreement, according to ABCA.
Thank you, Councilmember. Commissioner Nigro, I will give you the floor one more
I
time
know. Okay,
briefly.
real brief. Okay, so I'm talking about those settlement agreements. We have a problem with FLIRT at the moment. It's clear in their settlement agreement. It is ABCA that is the problem. So I agree that there has to be some sort of oversight or something, because they give way too many chances to the establishment. The end. Way too many. It's clear when they violated the settlement agreement I had with them. Whatever. There it is.
Okay, I got you.
Thank you, Commissioner Nigro. And I will just say that when that happens with me, I also engage a council members team to make sure they're noted. So I know they'd appreciate it if you make sure they are aware of your ongoing settlement agreement issues so they can take that into account. Thank you so much. I do not see any other questions for the public, and we also have to allow the council member to continue her work outside of this meeting. So I want to thank you, Councilmember Pinto, for your time and for your update. And please join us again when you're able. You're always welcome here with ANC 2G.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Chair McCarty. Thank you, all commissioners and the public. Thanks for all the work that you do on behalf of our community. I really appreciate your partnership, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you, Councilmember. Next, we will have Ty Abilla from the mayor's office give us the update from Mokers. Ty, I'm going to move you over. Welcome, Ty. The floor is yours.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Just give me one moment. I'll go ahead and share my screen for some quick updates. I will not go through the presentation in full because I want to be mindful of everyone's time, but I will drop all the information in the chat once I finish. But good evening again. My name's Ty Abilla. I'm the Ward 2 manager with the Mayor's Office of Community Relations and Services. Just want to share some quick updates. So residential street sweeping has started. And just want to let you all know that you have until March 17th before you get ticketed if you do not move your cars from the appropriate areas. So just keep that in mind and share that information with your neighbors to make sure that their cars after March 15th, 17th are removed. Tomorrow, DCHR will be hosting a job fair for formerly employed federal workers. That's going to take place at 10 a.m. If you know someone who has been impacted by recent events, please share this information with them. And on Tuesday, March 18th, Congresswoman Norton will be hosting a telephone town hall for DC federal workforce. So there's a provided information. As always, if you know someone who may be interested, please pass along the provided information. And this is more so for the ANC commissioners only before we open this up to the public. But the Office of Neighborhood Safety and Engagement are inviting the ANC commissioners to a meeting where they will discuss community violence interruption engagement series. So that's going to be exclusive to the ANC commissioners, which is going to take place on March 27th at 6 p.m. at Shaw Library. I know a member of their team had reached out to you all via email, I believe yesterday. And so it's my hope if scheduling permits, you all will be able to join us. And then on March 29th at MLK Library at 11 a.m., DC Summer Programming Fair will take place. And this is going to be programming available for district youth ages 5 to 21 for out of school time programs. And then I'm sorry. And then not too long ago, the mayor launched DC 2050, and that's going to be a roadmap for determining how we work towards preserving, enriching, and investing in the DC government or the district as a whole. So we're looking for community sentiments and inputs. So when the time permits, if you could use the following link to just submit your information. And then for the first week of April, the DC History Conference is going to take place. And so this is an opportunity for students, community members, educators, et cetera, to get together for a free 4-day event. And the information for registration is below. And we still are wanting to engage with the community in regards to their priorities around the budget. I know it's a difficult time right now and a lot going on as it relates to the budget itself, but still want to look forward to hearing about the priorities for the budget for the residents. And I will skip over that. We'll skip over that as well. As mentioned, you all will be able to read that at your leisure. But if you are a small local business that is in need of funding, please look to apply for the grant opportunity. The deadline is March 31st. It's an opportunity for our brick and mortar retail businesses to receive a $10,000 grant to grow and sustain their operations. And then our first Ward 2 roll-off date is going to take place on Saturday, March 22nd at 10 a.m. at Mitchell Park. So an opportunity for you to dispose any of your bulk trash or items that you're looking to give away. And I believe this might be my last announcement. The district leadership program is open and accepting interns as a paid internship opportunity. I'm a DLP alum, and it's definitely paved a great way and foundation for me into DC government and just jumpstarting my career. So if you know anybody that's interested, please pass along the provided information. And I will wrap it up there and take any questions that you all may have.
Thank you, Ty. Commissioners with questions, please raise your hand. Commissioner Garrett?
Thank you so much, Ty. I just wanted to confirm that you will receive a copy of that PowerPoint.
Yes, I'm actually in the process of dropping it into chat now, so I'll make sure you have access to it.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other commissioners with questions for the mayor's office? Seeing no questions from commissioners, we'll open the floor to the public. Do any of our public participants or attendees have questions for Ty with the mayor's office? Seeing no hands raised from our public attendees, Ty, we'll let you off the hook. And thank you so much for your update tonight. Okay. Next on our agenda are any additional community updates. So commissioners, if you have any updates you'd like to share with the community, please raise your hand and we'll give you time to share them. Commissioner Padro.
Thank you. There are a number of upcoming events that I wanted to bring to the community's attention and also to add to what Ty mentioned for our business owners, the Deputy Mayor for Planning and Economic Development's Great Streets Grants FY25 grant cycle is now open. Applications are due by 5 p.m. on the 14th of April, and I'm going to put a link to the notice of funds availability in the chat. Coming up on the 25th of March, Shaw Main Street's annual meeting will be held virtually via Zoom at 7 p.m. And that's March 25th. You can get information on how to get the link at shawmainstreets.org. There are two cleanups that have been scheduled for the 1500 block of 9th Street and adjacent blocks. The first is with Councilmember Pinto. It's an Earth Day, pre-Earth Day cleanup event that will be taking place on Saturday, the 12th of April in the morning. So details to follow from the council member's office and also available at shawmainstreets.org. And then the second will be on the 19th, Saturday the 19th, also in the morning, partnership with Shiloh Baptist Church and ANC 2GO2. And information on that will be available at the shawmainstreets.org website. And then the last event notice is for Eat Drink Shaw. That's the neighborhood's annual food and beverage showcase taking place at the Howard Theater on Thursday, the 17th of April at 7 p.m. Information is available at eatdrinkshaw.com. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Padro. Commissioner Garrett?
Yes, I just wanted to let constituents know on Saturday from 11 to 1, I'll be at SOS if you want to come by and say hello, talk about any issues or any 311 requests that has not been responded to. I'll be there for informal community hour, so please stop by and say hello. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Garrett. I'll also plug that I am hosting a neighborhood walk with DDOT on Saturday, March 22nd at 10 a.m. and it's on our ANC website. We're going to be talking about placemaking and infrastructure improvements to make our alley dwelling communities safer for everyone. And then I'm also doing a walkthrough with Ty in the mayor's office on Tuesday, March 25th at 6 p.m. We'll meet at the Love Mural, and that will also be on the website. Any other commissioner updates you'd like to share before we open the floor to the public? Seeing none, if anybody in the public forum would like to make a brief update, please raise your hand. Seeing none, we will close our community forum and move on to the business agenda for the evening. First up on our business agenda is the appointment of two remaining committee chairs. So tonight we will be appointing our ABCA. Oh, I just saw a question. L. Davenport, let me give you the floor. You want to make a quick announcement?
Good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I have two quick announcements. I'm Latoya Davenport with the U.S. Attorney's Office. I'm the 3rd District Community Outreach Specialist. I just wanted to let the community know that the new U.S. Attorney, Ed Martin, will be at the March 3D CAC meeting. So I invite everybody to come out and meet him. Also, I am planning a resource day. One of his main focus is crime prevention and prosecuting, the crimes that's going on in the city. So I will be hosting a resource day in one of the hotspots in 3D. I just don't have a location yet, but I will definitely send out the information. And if you're not on my distribution list and would like to receive the monthly court reports, you can send me an email and I will add you to my distribution list.
Thank you, Ms. Davenport. Could you please drop your email in the chat so that we could reach out if we'd like to get added to that distribution list?
Yes.
Also, I have a couple of commissioners who have questions for you. I'm not sure if you came prepared to answer questions, but do you mind if I give them the floor briefly to ask you anything?
Sure.
Thank you. Commissioner Nigro?
Hey, Ms. Davenport, how are you?
I'm
So this,
well. I'm a
yeah,
little under the weather, but how are you?
I'm great. So listen, so you know that y'all denied me to have a meeting with the former um district attorney. Right, I'm getting the right. I can't remember his title. What's his name again, Mr. Martin?
Matthew Graves.
No, yeah, no, yeah, not him, but the new with the former guy, right? So y'all didn't give me a meeting with him. So I would like to request a meeting with the new person
Okay.
because I think he would love the jail story. He would love it. Am I right?
Okay, so I will. So, as you know, a lot of people have retired. Wendy Pohouse retired. She's no longer with us. So I would definitely send it to our new director
Okay.
to see how to make that happen.
Oh, that would be great because before it was ridiculous how no one would let me have a meeting with Mr. Graves. That was absurd and insulting to my constituents.
Thank you, Commissioner Nigro, and thank you, Ms. Davenport. Commissioner Shea, another
Thank
quick
you.
question.
Yes, I just wanted to ask that you share the information about the March 3rd meeting in the comments here. I was not taking notes fast enough, and I'd like to share that out with my constituents.
Oh, the 3D CAC meeting?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm going to put my work cell phone number in the chat as well as my email address. And I'm always by my phone. So if you
Thank
need
you.
me, you could just email me or call me.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you. Have a good
Commissioner.
evening.
Thanks, Ms. Davenport. Have a great evening. We will now move on to our appointment of committee chairs. Tonight, we are filling the roles of two committee chairs, one for the ABCL committee, Alcoholic Beverage and Cannabis Licensing Committee, and one for our Transportation Advisory and Public Space Committee. First up, we have our ABCL, again, Alcoholic Beverage Licensing, Alcoholic Beverage and Cannabis Licensing Committee. And we have two folks who have expressed interest in serving. I've confirmed with both of them ahead of this meeting that they are both interested in serving as chair. And I'm going to give each of them the floor briefly to speak to commissioners and the commission about their goals for the committee. And then we will bring it before the commission as a whole to vote on the appointment. First up, I'm going to bring over Parker Griffin. Parker Griffin is a constituent of ANC 2G01. And Parker, I'm going to give you about a minute to share with us what you envision for the committee. And I'm also, for fairness, I'm going to make sure I set a timer for you. That way we keep both you and the other nominee at the same playing field. So whenever you're ready, I'll start the timer.
All right. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, you're good to go.
Okay, awesome. Hi there, everyone. Many of you know me already, Parker Griffin, resident over in 2G01. I love the timer up top. It's super official. So I will just briefly share a few of the points about why I've chosen to put my hat in the ring for the chair for the committee. The first one being that, as has been noted already, the ABCA doesn't always follow their own rules and regulations and has not been very responsive to citizens. We've seen that over in our neck of the woods when we had a cannabis shop try to open up. And we felt that a lot of residents felt that they weren't being heard. So one thing I would like to do is encourage businesses to bring residents to the meetings where they are looking for licensing and support from the ANC to, one, foster community relationships, but then two, make sure that community citizens feel heard. And then continue to make sure that we are working with the city as they are developing new cannabis licensing to make sure that citizens have the opportunity to express their opinions. But thank you very much.
Thank you, Parker. Next, I'm going to pull over our other nominee, Russell Reed. Russell Reed lives in ANC 2G04. I'm going to permit you to speak. And Please let me restart the timer, but let me know when you're ready. Russell, can you hear us?
Yes, thank you, Chair McCarty. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with all of you. This is past decade has obviously been a period of tremendous change for our district and for our neighborhood in particular. And I feel it's more important than ever that those that are the stewards of regulatory administration and compliance bring experience and perspective that bears directly on our ANC's role and responsibility. I've been a practicing lawyer for more than 35 years. And over the course of my career, I've represented numerous retail and hospitality companies and advised senior leadership on a variety of relevant regulatory frameworks. It's really been at the core of my corporate finance and restructuring practice. And now that I'm practicing less than I was actively before, I'd like to bring what I've learned to benefit our community in ways that have not been able to do in the past. Balancing the competing objectives, priorities, hopes, and yes, prejudices of the diverse constituencies that are impacted by the work of the NC. That's truly been my stock and trade.
Thank you, Russell. Now that we've heard from both of our nominees, I want to ask our commissioners, would you have any questions for the nominees? Or are you comfortable making a vote? Okay, Commissioner Nigro, give me one moment. I'm going to also permit Parker to speak in case you've got a question for both of them.
I just want to ask both of them how they plan to engage with community members to, grow this committee and making people aware, et cetera, et cetera.
Thanks. Russell, you're off mute. Would you like to answer that first?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been a resident of DC since 2014 and Shaw since 2017. And I feel like one of the things that we need to do more of, that I think we've done a lot. We've established Alley Fest, and we've already done a lot of community outreach in ways that try to engage restaurants, bars, other local businesses. And I think we can do a lot better job of that if we continue to reach out and not be just a regulatory compliance overlord, but also to engage in ways that are productive and have discussions that inform ways that we can certainly, I think, obviate some of the initial issues that happen over basically noise, sound issues that we should be able to handle on a grassroots level and not have to elevate that to the commissioners. And I think there are a lot of opportunities to do that on a local level to engagement, which I feel like, at least personally, I feel like we're already doing.
Thanks, Russell. Parker, do you want to answer the question on engagement?
Yeah, sure. So I think one thing in particular for residents is that they often will come to the commission once there's already an issue and people are at their wits' end. And it becomes very difficult when timelines have passed or deadlines have already been met and there's nothing that can be done until the next round. So I think a lot of the action that needs to shift towards is something that's being proactive, making sure that residents, one, are educated about how all these processes work. As someone who came into this a couple of years ago and realizing, oh my gosh, there's this whole situation and that I've already missed the boat. We need to make sure that we're educating residents and getting out and as our duty, getting out in front of it and helping to educate them about their opportunities to protest and what deadlines are. And then two, making sure that the businesses are also taking an initiative in fostering relationships with the community, seeing that for the committee, we would really want to, vote for them and vote for in favor of their licenses or changes to their license if they've already made inroads with the community and brought them to attention. So we do have to also put some onus on the businesses to bring up those relationships as well.
Thank you, Parker. Any other brief questions from the commissioners? Seeing none, then we will move to vote. So both Russell Reed and Parker Griffin are our two nominees to take the place of Commissioner Alex Padro as chair of the ABCL committee for ANC2G. And so we'll vote in the order in which they submitted their nomination requests. Russell, you did submit your nomination request prior to Parker. So all those in favor of appointing Russell Reed as ABCL Chair for ANC 2G, please raise your hand. Thank you. I have 4 votes. And then all those in favor of appointing Parker Griffin as an ABCL Chair for ANC2G. I have Commissioner Nigro. Thank you. Russell, it looks like you will be our next ABCL Chair for ANC2G. So congratulations. We look forward to working with you in a really robust manner as we navigate these new licenses and renewals in all of ANC2G. Parker, we still would love to have you participate in the committee and lend your voice to the commission in any way possible. So please stay engaged. We really want you involved.
I
Yes,
look
I
forward to working with
certainly.
all of you. Parker involved.
Yes, absolutely. Promise to stay engaged as a member. I'm looking forward to working with everyone still.
Thank you both. Next, we will move on to the nomination of our transportation secretary, our transportation committee chair. Unfortunately, Katie Bees, who is a resident of ANC 2G04, cannot make it today. She is the only one requesting nomination for the transportation committee chair. She's already met with current and outgoing transportation committee chair, Commissioner Barry, and Commissioner Barry has introduced Katie to the Transportation Commission. In lieu of Katie's absence today, she did send me a note that she wanted to be read. So I'm going to read that for all of you tonight. But Katie said, I'm so sorry I'm not able to make it tonight, but I'm excited to join you all at future meetings. And as the committee chair of transportation, I wanted to share a little bit about myself. I'm originally from Minnesota and have been working as a lawyer in DC since 2019. I've been living off of Naylor Court since 2021, and I love this neighborhood, and I'm looking forward to getting more involved in this community. As this is a new role for me, I hope to learn and grow with all of you. I currently work at the FTC as an antitrust lawyer, though I'm out on parental leave, and I previously worked for Vice President Harris in the White House. In my free time, I like to spend time with my husband and 6-week-old son, do yoga, and walk my little rat terrier Chihuahua mix named Josie, whom you might have seen around the neighborhood chasing squirrels and rats. I will say I've spoken with Katie. She is really excited about this role and has committed to making sure that she's able to attend future meetings. So I'm sorry she's not here today, but I would like to ask the commission to vote on her nomination as committee chair for our Transportation Advisory and Public Space Committee. And so I'm asking if any commissioners have a motion to appoint Katie.
I make a motion to appoint Katie as the chair.
Thank
I
you.
second.
Thank you, Commissioner Nigro. I'm gonna just friendly amendment that. Howard, if you accept, just I want to make sure it's Katie Bees, her full name.
I will accept that amendment.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion on the appointment of Katie Bees as Transportation Advisory and Public Space Committee Chair for ANC 2G?
Just a quick question, I might have missed it, but which SMD does she reside in?
Katie is in 2G04.
Thank you.
Okay, seeing no further questions or discussion, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor of appointing Katie Bees as Transportation Advisory and Public Space Committee Chair for ANC 2G respond with aye.
Aye.
The motion passes unanimous, and we will all send Katie our congratulations following this call. Next on our agenda is the Better Bus Network Redesign, or NOI number 2526 CPD. This directly impacts ANC 2G06, which is Commissioner Nigro's district, and we do have a representative from DDOT, Christoph, to tee us up for discussion on this NOI. Christoph, I'm moving you over.
Christoph, you don't have a long PowerPoint, do you?
No, I do not. Can you
Well,
see
that's
me?
good.
We cannot see you.
Oh, well, okay. I'm gonna leave my camera off. I'm sorry. I think I'm having some issues with my computer's camera, but I am just gonna present from the NOI that we sent out. So just gonna use the PDF. That's okay.
A-okay, Christoph, go ahead.
Okay.
I just want to share with folks listening in that we've dropped the PDF, the link to this PDF, in case you want to open it yourself and zoom in and whatnot. It's in the chat.
Okay, well, thank you for having me here tonight, commissioners. My name is Christoph Wassmer. I'm the District Department of Transportation's Ward 2 liaison. I'm here to present on NOI 2526-CPD. These are curbside changes to implement WMATA's Better Bus Network redesign in ANC 2G. We are proposing two new bus stops on New York and New Jersey Avenue. They're going to be on New York Avenue, but just at the intersection of New York and New Jersey. The first stop that's mentioned is on the southern side of New York, and they both are for the new D34 route. And then the other stop is on the northern side of New York Avenue, and it will be removing two currently rush hour restricted parking spaces. So this means that these are parking spaces that are allowed at all times but rush hour when they will be driving lanes. So this is a map of 2G and where the new bus stops are going to be located for this D34 bus route. And then here is an aerial visual of where the bus stops are going to be located. So this new bus zone is going to be located outside this food hall on New York Avenue. I know that there are some concerns about this bus stop. Previously, there had been a bus stop on New York Avenue here before this intersection was redesigned. It was removed during the redesign, and there has not been a bus stop at this intersection. So this will be moving basically the old bus stop that was here west outside the food hall. WMATA did explore alternatives for this location, but there had been concerns. They had been exploring a location that was on New York Avenue, close above north of M Street, but there were concerns for the slip lane here. And then for the southern bus stop, this is the same bus stop location as the 96 bus as before, or I believe it was the P6. So these are bus zones or bus stops that had been previously located at this intersection, but had been removed during the intersection improvements, and now will be reinstated as part of the WMATA Better Bus Network. So I'm happy to take questions and then share them with our bus team, and then they'll share it with WMATA, and WMATA will review all comments and make a decision from there.
Thank you, Christoph. Do any commissioners have a question? Please raise your hand. Commissioner Nigro, I'll give you the
Okay.
floor.
So, Christoph, let me correct you. So the food hall is over by the slip lane, where the bus stop, where y'all want to put the bus stop, or WMATA wants to put the bus stop, is by the Chinese gift shop. And so what I sent Christoph is, so everyone's pro bus stop, right? No one's against the bus stop. And frankly, when you had mentioned those two parking spots, I had to go look at some signs because no one parks there anyway because they would be hit by ongoing traffic, right? So this is just a reality. Like, no one has ever parked there. So no one is concerned about the removal of the two parking spaces. The thing is, for a bus stop to be there, it endangers the person. There are accident upon accidents right where they want to put this bus stop. And then my initial concern was where y'all want to put the bus stop, where one is is there is nothing near that. There's hardly anyone goes in that Chinese gift shop. It's near two empty lots, and it's just sketchy at night. So we don't have a problem with a bus stop. It is where this is going to be, which you, Christoph, DDOT has that you have nothing to do with except for the parking spaces. But if you can talk to WMATA and tell them our concern, that is our concern, is that the person who's standing there will be in danger of being hit. There you
Thank
go.
you. I appreciate those
You got my
comments.
stuff. You saw those comments
I did.
that I
Thank
sent
you.
you. I mean, I don't know what you can do, but I would hate to see this bus stop come and then something happen.
Thank you,
You.
So that's
Commissioner
it.
Nyker.
Wait, Christoph, what can you do? Christoph, what can you do, if anything?
I will bring your comments and the comments of your constituents to WMATA's attention, and then make sure that they, look at alternatives to this location.
Well, it used to be down in front of my building many, many, many years ago, and in front of the empty lot, which is further west. So, but at least there's more eyes, and right where that bus stop, forget about it. I would never stand there at night. No way.
Understood.
Thank you, Commissioner Nigro. Commissioner Podger, I believe you had your hand raised. Do you have a question still?
No, it was a question about the misidentification of the location, which Commissioner Nigro correct.
Thank you, Commissioner Padro. Any other commissioners have any questions about this NOI? Commissioner Shea?
I just want to share that I echo those concerns with particularly with the location by the gift shop and the abandoned locations, that safety of people waiting for and getting on and off the bus and crossing right there is a concern for me. But I'm pro more bus stops in our community as well.
Thank you, Commissioner Shea. Commissioner Garrett?
Yes, I want Christoph, is there any like lighting or anything of determined that we could put there with to deter people from doing bad crimes? Because I'm with Commissioner Shea, I'm pro bus stops. But is there any way that we could deter crime? Like more lighting or anything in that area? Is that a possibility?
That's a good question. That's definitely something that DDOT can investigate, and is a good suggestion if we proceed with this bus stop location, would be to get more lighting.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christoph. Thank you, Commissioner Garrett. Are there any other questions from commissioners? Seeing none, I will open the floor for questions from our public forum. If you're an attendee and you would like to ask Christoph from DDOT a question about this specific NOI pertaining to the Better Bus Network redesign with WMATA, please raise your hand so we can call on you and floor. Okay, seeing no questions from the public, commissioners, Commissioner Nigro, do you have a motion for
Yep.
this NOI?
Yep, I move that ANC 2G support this NOI, which I forgot the number, with the allowance that DDOT reaches out to Ramada with our concerns about safety, with lighting, and that area is empty, and safety with the many numerous traffic accidents on that corner, that they reevaluate that location.
Seconded.
The motion has been made by Commissioner Nigro, seconded by Commissioner Padro. I'm just going to give you a friendly amendment, Commissioner Nigro. Commissioner, it's NOI number 2526 CPD.
Amendment taken. Great.
Thank you. Any further discussion from commissioners on the motion on the floor? Seeing none, we will move to a vote. All in favor of voting for Commissioner Nigro's support of NOI 2526 CPD with the request that DDOT reach out to WMATA to express our concerns around the frequent accidents and public safety for this proposed bus stop. All those in favor respond with aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it. That is unanimous. Thank you so much, Christoph.
You commissioners have a great evening.
Hey, Christoph, you still there?
Yep.
Can you hear me? Hey, can you, if I send you a bunch of emails tomorrow, can you answer them about the Nibro 1200 camera and the camera? Can you all give me some answers about that stuff? The
Yes,
camera
ma'am.
at Fourth, please. Okay, thank
Will
you.
do.
Goodbye.
Thank
Okay.
you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Christoph. Next, we will bring over Ralph Brabram from Bowtie Shaw. This is it is an ABCA renewal of a Class C restaurant license, ABRA 095815 and 2G02. Ralph, I'm promoting you to panelist. And Commissioner Padra, I'm not sure if there's anything you'd like to share before we allow Ralph to speak, but the floor is yours.
Sure. For folks that may not be familiar with Bowtie at 1550 7th Street Northwest, they do have a Class C or a licensed Class C restaurant license. Hours of operation are Sunday through Thursdays, 7 a.m. to 2 a.m., Fridays and Saturdays, 7 a.m. to 3 a.m. Their hours of sales and service match those. They do have an outdoor cafe. Hours of operation for the outdoor cafe are Sunday through Thursday, 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. Actually, 7 days a week, 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. And hours of service are on the sidewalk cafe are 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. There are no negative findings on their investigative history in the past 2 years. And the ABCL committee voted unanimously at last Thursday's meeting to support the renewal of this license. And it's also in my single member district, and I also support it. Ralph.
Thank you, Commissioner Padra. Ralph, anything you'd like to share with the commission?
No, we are appreciative of your consideration of our renewal. We think that we have been and hope to continue being a good community partner. No really changes in our operation on the horizon. And, this is obviously an important aspect of our business, and we appreciate the commission's consideration.
Thank you so much, Ralph. Any questions from commissioners on this license renewal? Seeing none, I'll open the floor to the public. If you're an attendee on the other side, member of the public, and you'd like to ask a question of Bowtie Shaw regarding their license renewal for Class C restaurant license, please raise your hand. Seeing no questions, Commissioner Padra, do you have a motion?
Yes, I move that Advisory Neighborhood Commission 2G support the renewal of the license for Bowtie Shaw LLC at 1550 7th Street Northwest. License number is ABRA 095815, and then we communicate that support to the Alcoholic Beverage and Cannabis Administration.
I'll second that motion.
The motion has been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion amongst commissioners? Seeing none, we will call a vote. All those in favor of the motion on the floor to support the renewal of Bowtie's Class C restaurant license, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
That motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Ralph. Thank you, Bowtie, and thank you, Commissioner Padro.
Stephen,
Thank
a
you.
comment came in. Can I just read it in so we've got it in the notes?
Yes.
Robert Goldberg just wrote that ALT supports this business.
Awesome. Thank you, Commissioner Shea. Thank you,
Thank you.
Ralph. And we hope to see you again soon.
Thank you.
Next up on our agenda is a request for zoning relief for the address 1311 6th Street Northwest. This is an ANC 2G05. That application number is 21237. And I believe Commissioner Shea is going to drop that application in the chat for folks to review. This has been reviewed by our Zoning, Planning, and Historic Preservation Committee, and they have unanimously recommended that we approve this zoning variance. We also do have Mr. Eric Tarrin from the application itself to share more about the project with the commission. So, Mr. Tarran, I am bringing you over to share more about the project with the commission ahead of our vote. I'll give you the floor.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Eric Turan, and I'm the architect for the presentation, or do you just want me to go over it?
If you have a few slides to share, that would be great.
Okay, let me just bring that up. Let me know if I'm a little bit choppy. My internet's been kind of bad today. If that's the case, I'll just turn off my video. So we're requesting 5 reliefs. It's mainly for the 3rd floor, and we'll go through those. The location is on 6th Street, and this is the subject property right here. But zoom in. The 5 requests, one of them, it's an existing 4-unit building. However, we don't have the lot for it to be 4 units, so any additions or remodels to it, we have to request BZA relief, and that's what we're doing. So the new building will still be 4 units. Another relief we're requesting is we are minimizing the setback, and I'll show that to you when we get to the floor plans. Another one is we're requesting to be 10 feet further back than the building to the north, and that will be shown on the floor plans as well. We have the lot occupancies over 60%. This is actually only for the 3rd floor, because the 1st and 2nd floor, we are keeping the original building outline. So this will be at 69.2% for the 3rd floor, which is shown here diagonal hatch. And the last one, we're not 100% sure we need it, but we're asking it for it anyway, since we're asking for so many, is for the front where there's sometimes architectural features. We're requesting to remove that, and we're going to extend the building brick and then put the same cornice from that's there now, but just raise it and put a new one on the 3rd floor addition. So we go through, we'll go through the site photos fairly quick. I know we're a little bit behind schedule. So the building in question is this white one here in the middle. And it's also this part of the brick here, the dark blue right here. So it actually extends from one bay window to the other bay window. I'm just going through more slides. This is the alley. The existing is here in the back. Let me see, it's a big wall. If you look here on the bottom right, there's a picture of the courtyard back here. And basically that courtyard will be staying as well, and there'll be a 3rd floor addition at the top. Just looking at the structure, it's a mess. The past owner did not take care of it. It's even worse on the inside. So this is a full gut remodel addition. We're gonna have a big basement underneath as well. And just some more pictures of showing the state that it's in. So these first 2 plans are just the demo plans. So as you can see, a big gut, big remodel. And then that's the 2nd floor. And then we go to the proposed plans. This will be the cellar. The existing cellar is basically this part of the front, which is the original building. And we will be underpinning and digging out the back part over here. And so that would be 1 unit. So each floor is basically 1 unit. And this is the 1st floor, the ground floor. That'd be the 2nd unit, the 3rd unit. And then the top floor, this is the new unit, the 3rd floor. And so here you can see 2 of the reliefs we're requesting. Is at the back at the alley side, there's an angle here. And at the low end, we're only 14'7.5" rather than the required 20 feet. However, at the other corner, we're a little bit over 20 feet. So that's the request we're asking for, a little bit less than 20 feet. And over here, we're at 12'3" from the end of the adjacent building. And if you're anything over 10 feet, you have to request relief for that. So we're asking for an additional 2'3" at this back part here. And then this lot occupancy here that you see, this is what's at 69.2% rather than the by right 60%. And then just the roof plan. The elevation, we'll look at it a little bit more when we look at 3D images, but we're proposing, to keep the same window details. A lot of people, including myself, don't like a lot of the zoning regulations where if there's an architectural feature, you have to push back 3 feet or 5 feet, or if it's historic, so it doesn't look the same. Since this isn't historic, we're proposing to move the cornice up to the top, extending the brick structure so that this looks like it's always been there. It's one building. Not an ugly box addition, which we are seeing a lot around all of DC. Then we look at the side elevations. This is the building to the north. That's the existing outline in red. So our existing building is here. So we're adding basically this part up here, the third floor and this back part. This is looking the other side to the property on the south, which is over here. And this is only this area right here, which is the original structure, is on the property line. Everything to the right of this line, that's all in the courtyard. That's between, I think it's about 8 to 12 feet away, depending on where you are. And then we'll go to the 3D images. So we are proposing a darker blue. This doesn't have those nice detailed images or a drawing of the window details, but that is what we are proposing to do. So you can see the scale of it. And here at the bottom right is just the courtyard in the back. And there's some more images that you can see how pushing this up a little bit more than 2 feet past the 10-foot rule. Having them lower, I guess, top left here, this is only 14 feet. It doesn't really affect anybody, and we'll see that in the shadow studies. And the low occupancy, I don't think it really affects anyone as well. So here we have the shadow studies. The left is the proposed, and the right is a matter of right. So the third floor addition was only 60%, and we kept that 20-foot setback. This is at 9 a.m. at the summer solstice. As you can see in the proposed, there's just a small little area that would be additional shading. However, this is on the roof of that structure. So you can see this green area, that's their yard space. And even the matter of right, that's going to be covered. So there is no additional impact on the neighbor to the north. This is at 12 p.m. And once again, the little sliver, that's on the roof again. So no additional impact. And then here would be at 3 p.m. And you can see there's some impact to the house on the south. However, it's the same situation where the additional shading is on the roof. And then we go to the winter solstice, and we do the 9, 12, and 3 p.m. studies, and there are no additional shading to the homes than what would be for the matter of right. And then that's the last one right there. So I'm happy to answer any questions. Oh, sorry, neighbors. We have had a very, very hard time talking to neighbors. The neighbor here to the north, the funeral home, we've spoken to 2 or 3 people, and they keep informing us we have to speak to the neighbor or the owner. The one time we left our business card, he called very upset that we left the business card. I don't know what his issues are or if he has any. When he did speak to the owner, it sounded like it was more issues about construction and how it may affect his business. Obviously we can't park in the alley, leave cars there. We have to follow all those regulations. We're going to occupy any parking in the front. We have to get a DDOT permit for that. So I think the main concerns are during construction, since it is a place of business. He doesn't want that affected. As far as the BZA relief items, I don't know if he has any issues for those. The neighbor here to the south, he's been very difficult to reach as well. He lives, I think, in another country, and he's renting it. However, the last time the owner spoke to him about 2 weeks ago, he informed us that his renters are moving out, and we asked if we could have access just to make sure his structure and everything's okay at the party wall, and he's going to give us that in a week or so. So he doesn't seem like he's going to oppose anything, but he has been very hard to reach as well. So, yeah, it's been one of the harder projects I've had where the neighbors aren't communicating too well, even to tell me that they hate it or they don't want to support the relief. But yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Tran. Do any commissioners have questions? If so, please raise your hand. I'm actually going to start. I wanted to confirm, I believe you were able to connect with Commissioner Barry, whose single member district this is in. Is that correct?
Could you repeat that, please?
Were you able to connect with Commissioner Barry, Commissioner Sheena Barry?
Yes, I spoke to her. She said she had a better or has a relationship with him, and she's going to hope or try to get him or make a meeting happen.
Okay. Thank you. Commissioners, do you have any questions for Mr. Turan about this project? Commissioner Padro?
Not a question, but a comment. I want to thank the applicants for doing something that often doesn't happen unless they have to do it, and that's to try to come up with an addition or new infill construction that actually fits into the historic context of the neighborhood. This is a block that is in a mixed character in terms of what has been preserved and what has been lost, and it's always very helpful to the integrity of the adjacent historic districts to have new construction and additions that are sympathetic to the design aesthetic that is predominant in the neighborhood.
Thank you, Commissioner Padro. Any other questions from commissioners? Seeing none, we'll open the floor for public questions or comment. If you have anything you'd like to share, please raise your hand. I did get a chat from Robert Goldberg, who chairs our Zoning, Planning, and Historic Preservation Committee. He reiterated that the committee did approve this and agreed with you, Commissioner Padro, relative to your comments about maintaining the historic character of the building. Seeing no comments from the public, Commissioner Barry is not here, and I would usually have the single member district representative introduce the resolution, but since we do not have Commissioner Barry here, I'll entertain the motion. So I would entertain a motion before the commission to support zoning relief requests under application number 21237 for Yasmin Khan at 1311 6th Street Northwest, square 480, lot 833 in ANC 2G, and grant them special exceptions under the residential conversion requirements of subtitle U 320.2 and the rear addition requirements of subtitle E 207.5, as well as special exceptions from the rooftop and upper floor requirements of subtitle E, the rear yard requirements of subtitle E, and the lot occupancy requirements of subtitle E. Do I have a second? Or would anyone like to move that motion?
I'll make the motion, but I'll also make a friendly amendment that we identify Commissioner Barry as being authorized to represent the commission before zoning commission or before zoning adjustment in this case.
Friendly amendment accepted. Do I have a second?
Second.
The motion has been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion by commissioners? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. All in favor of the motion on the floor to grant these special exceptions, please signify by saying aye.
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 The motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Turan, for your work with us and before our committees.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Thanks, you too. So the last thing on our agenda is our information agenda. And here we just want to remind everybody that our next meeting is on Thursday, April 10th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. All our meetings are always on the second Thursday of each month at 6:30 p.m. held virtually via Zoom. You can find all of that information on our website, anc2g.org/meetings. You'll also be able to see all upcoming committee meetings in addition to ANC meetings and community events hosted by your single member district. So please continue to use the ANC website as a hub for all of your ANC related information, and don't hesitate to reach out to your single member district, your ANC commissioner, if you have any questions. Is there anything any commissioners would like to share for the good of the group before I entertain a motion to adjourn?
Hey, Stephen, I have a question. Did we approve the minutes from last month?
Yes, we
Did we
did.
do that for? Okay, good. Thank you.
My pleasure. Well, without further comment, I would entertain a motion to adjourn our meeting at 8:19 p.m. on this
Oh no,
Thursday.
never mind. I forget it. Something's forget it.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Padro, seconded by Commissioner Shea. All those in favor?
Bye.
Bye.
We will adjourn our ANC 2G meeting on March 13th, 2025 at 8:19 p.m. Thanks so
Happy
much,
St. Patrick's
everybody.
Day.
Thank you, everybody.
Happy
Happy St. Patrick's
Happy
Day.
Women's History Month.
Yay.
Thanks for joining us.
Bye-bye.
Good night, everyone.